All right, here we are. First up, we're going to have Annie Humphrey play. Annie is an Anishinaabe songwriter from the Leech Lake Indian Reservation. I first heard Annie play at the Earthwork Harvest Gathering a few years ago and was so moved by her voice and her presence. So without further ado, the first musician of the Midwest Mobilize Stop Line 3 and 5, Annie Humphrey.
Miigwech. Oh gosh. So this first song is called Episode of Horrible, and it's about being coherent. My dear friend John Trudell.
Okay, thank you.
We talk about activism and occupations in the 70s and all this stuff, and he always, the bottom line was always, you gotta be coherent. And that means, you know, out in the world, in your community, in your own home, and inside your own self. So be coherent. Outbreaks of new diseases, can't get help from Jesus. Water lashing out, stranded yachts in the trees. Better get ready for the extinction of bees. Stay coherent for as long as I'm able. In this episode of horrible, ignored it all, buried my head in the sand. My son arrived and gave this command. His first words were, "Mama, you take a stand." So I pulled my head up out of the sand and I raised my fist in the air as I shook the sand from my hair. Stay coherent for as long as I'm able. In this episode of horrible, strong brown women attracting thinkers and bullets, while middle America stays ignorant of the bloodshed. The good guys and bad guys are all addicted. When the black snake breaks, we all sink on the same shit. Stay coherent for as long as I'm able. In this episode of horrible. Bewitched. I forgot to introduce myself. Mama Duyashka Indigenous Cause, and I am from Leech Lake. So this next song I want to do is called "We the People," and I wrote it quite a while back, but it was inspired by my mom who went to Chiapas in 1996, And there, the people are fighting for, land rights and human rights. And she came back and she said, I learned something. I learned that no matter what I do, no matter what we do, it'll never be enough. But you can't do too little. So I think it's very important that everybody do what you can, whatever it is. You don't have to leave home, and be an activist. I mean, there are other ways of being an activist, and there are different ways of doing direct actions and that are quite powerful. So whatever fits for you, we all got a job to do. Joe's wearing a t-shirt that, it was a quote that John once said. He said, you take care of your tomatoes and I'll keep the beast out of the garden. Right? So some people gotta fight the beast, but if you don't take care of your garden, there's no reason to fight the beast. So there's all this connection, and we need some unity. We need unity among the tribes. We need unity among organizations, because nobody owns this struggle. You're part of it. We the people drink oceans of oil. It's not right, we say, as we drive our car to the grocery store just half a mile away. We cut away through forest after forest and we scream, this isn't right. We'll go out to dinner and pick our teeth with wooden toothpicks tonight. Well, Mama came down from the mountains of Chiapas. She warned, don't let the oppressor stop us. Whatever we do, it'll never be enough. Let's not get caught doing nothing at all. We build new mountains, see them on the horizon, built with styrofoam and diapers. As we shake our head at the ugly mess, we carry organic food home in plastic. While Mama came down from the mountains of Chiapas, she warned, don't let the oppressor stop us. Whatever we do, it'll never be enough. Let's not get caught doing nothing. My son has a son. There's nowhere to run. Is it too late to try, even try? My son has a son. There's nowhere to run. And when that new boy wants to know why, tell him Mama came down from the mountains of Chiapas. She warned, don't let the oppressor stop us. Whatever we do, it'll never be enough. Let's not get caught doing nothing at all. So we all can do something. So just make sure that that you're doing it with a good heart and love each other. Big witch.
Thank you, Annie. Beautiful. You all can clap in your screens if you'd like. I know, right? So next up, we are going to have Yabashan. Old Shield is with us, and she's at Circle Pine Center in Delton, Michigan. And I'm going to find them in the big sea of people on this Zoom and spotlight them. So get ready.
So they can hear us.
Let's see. Oh, there they are. I got you. All right. Take it away, Yabashan. Thank you for being here.
Abuju, all their house, Vision Cars, Wash Christian do them. Kami gwech when when we aga bit go siya. Mampi minoa. Would you go? Yeah. All the house here. Dear clan, I'm thankful we could be here today. Everybody both here and wherever you are out there. I just wanted to share a little bit of a prayer. First, I want to thank and acknowledge the language speakers and the faith keepers that we have with us today and in the past that allowed us to keep our language going. And then I want to offer a prayer, bless for the water, and do this, share our language. Now, Lomi Gwetwa Yak, Kina Nishnabe Majik, Ginawa Dash Mandoke Wajik. Name the Gago, Broadway with Benesi Bun. Kina Gago Gajik again. We not a Mago Young. Kina Ninawe Nishnabek. Ninawa Dash Abagagik. Nishnabe, Kina Maget. Just wanted to take a moment to honor and acknowledge the late Bodwe Wadan Benesi Bun for all he's done to help Anishinaabe people. And I personally wanted to thank Wabagegek for his language teaching. That's helped me a lot. We Jagaba women, Minwa, Musgim, Manongo Kwe. We, na Manado, Giche Manado, Gijemanado, Minwa Gaye, Neto Bique, no Commisana, Minwa Dash Gaye, Nisoe Gamique, Duno and Dun, Zagai Ganan, Minwa Zibi Yan, Oma a King Bemidjawang. Asama, bigger than end, Bekish, or Dapanad. Yejam Nado, Wena Gagwedwe Yang, Nabe Daje, Monaco Witch Gade. The day Wabo Dash, the Madazit, or Dapanang. Just want to speak to the spirit, the great spirit, and also my grandmother's watching over the water, protecting the water, the lakes and the rivers flowing here in our land. This asema, this tobacco that we're offering and placing, we ask the Creator, Gijem Nadal, in a good way, that this water could be made sacred. Daje Manato Witch Gadek. And in this water, the people that will share here with us here, Nahao Migo Dominic Wa Gigadoyan. So I'll say for now, Nahao Miigwech.
Nindawe Maganidak, Uju, Anungu Kwe, and Disnakas, Mangan and Dodam, Nachi Banashiwish, Potawatomi, and Nishnawbe Kwe, and Dao Bitsa Kwe, Potawatomi, Akin, and Jindaba, Miju, Mide Kwe, and Dao, Miigwech, Miigwech, Sama, Miigwech, Minowa, Nubi, Miigwech, Wabanang, Jawanang, Yabanang, Uwadanang, Miigwech, Nandi, Miigwech, Balsicum, Nishnawbe, and then I just want to say hello to everybody in all creation and everybody here in Zoom land. My name is Yabashan Oldshield. That was my given name at birth, and my spirit name is Nangukwe, which means Star Woman. I also acknowledge the clan that I belong to, which I belong to the Wolf Clan, and the nation that I'm federally recognized with is the Matchi Banashiwish Band of Potawatomi Indians. I also am Odawa, Lakota, and Seneca. I live on Potawatomi part of this earth, and I get my teachings from the Three Fires Midaywan Lodge. I feel really honored today to speak and pray here in this beautiful property at Circle Pines today, in honor of the water and acknowledging the water. It's part of my work as a Anishinaabe Kwe to continue this work with the water. And there's a lot of special reasons why women are the protectors, are part of the protectors, are part of the ones who help with this. But it's just not our job, it's everybody's job to take care of this water, to pray for this water, to ensure that this water is going to be there for the next 7 generations. And so I humbly always offer my tobacco when I'm crossing waterways to pray for this water in hopes that it's going to be here for all of us in the future. These days with this pandemic and everything that's happening, it's harder for us to gather, and so I think it's a really good thing that's going on here, and honoring and you know, being able to all of us pray for the water. So I really encourage that, and especially in Anishinaabe Kwe. Like I said, I always take it seriously when I'm asked to talk or speak on behalf of the water. And there are certain protocols that have to happen when we're blessing the waters that can't be exposed on this Zoom era that we're going through right now. So we're just doing the best we can. And I just want to again thank my partner here, Paul, for you know, being a diligent learner with the language, and he was able to help a little bit today with a prayer honoring and acknowledging those water spirit women that help in that water realm. And so I just want to say again, much for that, and again, thanks for having me today. And just want to say and encourage, yes, to keep continuing to pray for the water and to keep this fight going against line 5. Just again, want to say in our language, Ajwe Mishnang Gijimanidu, Ajwe Mishnang Gijimanidu, Ajwe Mishnang Gijimanidu, Ajwe Mishnang Gijimanidu. And I'm just asking the Creator to have pity on all of us here today and every day. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, everyone. We have someone with us here coming from Minnesota. Their name is Tasia Martineau, and we're really excited to have them come speak. They're here from the front lines of the Line 3 resistance. And Tasia is a two-spirit indigenous anarchist in opposition to Enbridge Line 3, founder of Camp McGeezy and co-founder of Gitchagumi Scouts. Thank you, Tasia. We're ready for you whenever you're ready to speak. We can't hear you yet if you are speaking. But we can come back to you too if you're having audio issues. Cool, we will pivot. No rush, we have lots of amazing people here today. Sean, if you are ready, we'd love for you to speak while Tasia is getting their audio sorted. If I could have MJ spotlight Sean McBrearty from Oil and Water Don't Mix, that would be amazing.
Hi,
Welcome.
everybody. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for having me here today. And wow, and the songs and the prayers, what a way to start. Thank you all very much. My name is Sean McBrearty, and I'm the campaign coordinator for Oil and Water Don't Mix, which is an alliance of several environmental groups and nonprofits, all 12 of the United Tribes of Michigan Tribes, and several different Michigan businesses who have been working together for the last 8 years to shut down the Line 5 pipeline. And today, we are closer to our goal than we have ever been before. Line 5 is an important fight, but it's part of a global struggle against the fossil fuel industry. It's related to Line 3, Dakota Access Pipeline, Keystone XL, the other major pipeline fights that we're fighting right now. In many ways. But what I really wanted to highlight right now, we're in a position where we have Enbridge up against the wall right now. And Enbridge knows that. They are spending right now over $300,000 a week just on media in Michigan alone. That's not counting what they're spending, including buying police in Minnesota in the Line 3 fight. That's not including what they're spending in Canada to lie about our struggles to shut down their pipelines. As most of you know, Line 5 is a 68-year-old pipeline that runs through the heart of the Great Lakes in the Straits of Mackinaw. And a spill there would be devastating for everybody who relies on these waters. It would be devastating for so many reasons. And yes, they're spending a lot of money on Michigan radio, NPR, as I see in the chat. They're doing everything they can. And you know what? We're not going to have big moneyed interests backing our campaign. That's not something that happens on these things. What we need is people power, and what we need is solidarity and all the support we can get through this critical time. As many of you know, May 13th is the deadline for Enbridge to shut down Line 5 in the Straits of Mackinaw. They've already said they intend to break state law and continue trespassing and running the Line 5 pipeline past the May 13th deadline. So this is likely to be a several months long, if not longer than that, legal fight. until we're able to see Line 5 shut down. And in the meantime, people power is what is going to keep this movement going. If we go away, Enbridge wins. They will crush us in the media, and we won't have any opposition left. What we need right now, more than anything, is people getting involved. We can't match them dollar for dollar. We can match them with people power. We are continuously fighting on two fronts on Line 5. There's not only the work to shut down the existing pipeline, but there's also the work to stop Enbridge's plan of building an oil tunnel through the Straits of Mackinaw. And today, when the world's leading climate scientists and experts are telling us we have to rapidly decarbonize the economy unless we want the next generations to live in some sort of a post-apocalyptic hellscape, it makes no sense to spend any time building an oil tunnel through the heart of the Great Lakes. So we are going to keep fighting on these fights. And with so many people on the call today, there's 84 of us here. And I'm going to put a link in the chat. We've started a new campaign, or a new piece of our campaign. I would ask one thing of folks gathered here today. If you could go use this link that I put in the chat to oilandwaterdon'tmix.org and submit a video of yourself. It doesn't have to be long. You can look at the examples we have up. My 6-year-old daughter filmed a 20-second video about why she wants Line 5 shut down and cares about the Great Lakes just yesterday. If folks can go on there and submit a video of themselves talking about why they think it's most important to shut down Line 5, we're going to be using those to confront Enbridge's advertisements. We're going to be using those to tell the truth. This has been a long struggle. And another thing to flag for folks, when we win and when Line 5 is shut down, it will be the first time in United States history that a pipeline has been shut down by state authorities before it ruptures and causes a giant catastrophe, which is a very important precedent, which is part of why the fossil fuel industry is fighting so hard on this pipeline. The other, and again, this is part of a larger global movement. We can't solve the problems of the climate crisis by acting alone here in Michigan. This is something where we need to have solidarity, not only with our allies in Wisconsin and in Minnesota. We need to have global alliances working on this issue, and we do. We have. I love that early on in this presentation, Annie brought up the example of the people of Chiapas, which is such a profound example of ways that we can be working and steps that we can be taking to confront the growing problems of not only the climate crisis, but the global capitalist crisis that we're facing. And I thank everybody for being here today. And please, as you go and film your video about why you want Line 5 shut down, use the reasons that are important to you. And make sure that you add yourself as well to our email list. We're going to have all sorts of actions coming up this summer and fall, especially as it becomes possible for people to gather in person again. And I would love to have you all there. And thank you, everybody, for your continued support. Thank you for having me today for this presentation. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sean. Powerful. So appreciated that you're here. Please, everyone, go to the link that Sean shared and share that link with all your people after this event. Let's make this just, an overflowing movement. As he said, this is an unprecedented moment. If we can achieve that, it will be huge. Next up, we are going to have Seth Bernard. If Seth is ready. So Seth has been a leader of the Michigan music scene, a co-founder of Earthwork Music, Title Track, the Clean Water Campaign of Michigan, and a constant force in Michigan for not only creativity, but action and social justice. So we're really grateful you're here today, Seth. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Sam. Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be with you all. Wow, what an amazing group of water protectors here. I'm Seth. I'm on Anishinaabe land near Traverse City, Michigan. I am a recovering colonizer and co-executive director of Title Track. Big shout out and gratitude to my co-executive director, Holly Bird. Yeah, we've been in the thick of this Line 5 battle for 8 years. 8 years ago, I was up on the Straits of Mackinac for the first rally there, and it has been amazing to see people come together. So many relationships have been forged in this effort, and I'm proud of us and really excited to be here in this moment with you all. It's not the same as organizing in person. You know, when we're in the same room, we share genetic information with each other. We share consciousness with each other. But I think we're getting good enough at Zoom to be able to share some of that. And the network gets stronger. You know, our web of humanity gets stronger. And I'm going to share a song with you here. This is a song kind of about personal sovereignty. And I wish you all courage to stay in the fight, and I wish you all wellness as we stay in this resistance for the rest of our lives, and remember to take care of ourselves and each other. So this is called My Heart Is My Home. My heart is my home. When I'm alone, I'm all one. You don't own me, I'm free. I'm free. My body is my land, my soul expands, I'm all one. You don't command me, I'm free. I'm I'm not a subject, I am the cosmos. I'm not a commodity, I am a body of water. I am a life, I am alive. You don't own me, I'm free. I'm free, free, My heart is my home. When I'm alone, I'm all one. You don't own me, I'm free. I'm free, free, free.
Beautiful. Thank you, Seth. We're all sending our love and clapping in our little Zoom boxes. So we would love to have Jamie up next to speak with us. And before Jamie speaks, I would love to put a donation link in the chat box. So we are hoping to help raise money for the Stop the Money Pipeline campaign, along with Honor the Earth and Camp McGeezy today. And we recognize that not everyone can give funds. There's lots of ways to engage. This is one. You guys have directed a lot of attention to line 3 and 5 by coming and sharing this event. So thank you. And if you're also able to give money to the front lines, this is a great fundraiser. It's Stop the Money Pipeline. It will go toward the GNU Collective and the Line 3 Legal Defense Fund. So we're just going to take a moment. Jamie, if you don't mind being spotlighted, we're just going to take, a little bit of time here to just be in silence, let you guys go to this link. And if you have it in you, if you have the funds, please give something to the front lines right now. And if you've already given, just please take a moment of silence and think about everyone that's right now in Minnesota around line 3 resisting. Thank you. And if you're just tuning in, we're taking a moment of silence here. We're having everyone go to the Stop the Money Pipeline link for the fundraiser for GNU Collective and the Line 3 Legal Defense Fund, because there are a growing number of people out on the front lines in Minnesota that need our help and our support and our attention and our love to resist line 3. So while you're finishing up your donation, if you're able to give, I'd like to introduce Jamie, who is an abutter to the Line 3 project in Aleta, Minnesota, near its first proposed crossing. She has exposed the Enbridge corruption by challenging state agencies, testifying in hearings, and writing to document and dissect the issues via LTEs, blogs, and video posts since 2015. So thank you for your work. She works to help both the movement and the public at large better understand the risks the project poses and how we can work together to stop line 3. So thank you, Jamie. Take it away.
Good, thank you. Bonjour, Jamie Gaither, Indigenous Cause. I don't speak a lot of Ojibwe, but I'm learning Ojibwe and grateful to be here with you all today. I live near Aleta, Minnesota, which is as Sam said, right near the first proposed Mississippi River crossing for the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline. The road in front of my house is farther away than the timber matting road behind my house now these days. And it's been 900 days since the IPCC gave us 10 years to get our stuff together. And we just recently saw them update that to 10 months. Science says that tar sands need to stay in the ground, and we're working to help that happen here in Minnesota. As many of you know, a particular problem with pipelines is that FERC guarantees them a profit, and so investors find it not hard to like. And money is money; it'll go wherever it goes. And the recent banks are not likely defunding fossil fuels because it's good for the environment. If that was the case, they would have done it long ago. They're divesting right now because of price crashes and uncertainty. And actions along the front line increase the opportunity for continued exposure for many more of us to get involved and see what is happening on the ground. In matters of Enbridge, a main issue creating uncertainty are the court cases, which create a lot of uncertainty for where the industry is going in the future, whether they're going to be able to get approved or not. And we have this all across from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, so many people in the fight. Local groups here, like Honor the Earth and Friends of the Headwaters, are in court right now fighting this project on multiple fronts. We have the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency contested case hearings on the 401 permit and federal cases challenging the U.S. Army Corps' 404 permit. And just this week, the Minnesota Court of Appeals heard the latest round of challenges to the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission approvals for the project on need and routing. They also considered whether the final revised environmental impact statement truly gave an evaluation of the possible spill impacts to Lake Superior as the court requested. it was clear from some of the judges' questions that it seems they have doubts that that was the case. And as was shared earlier, Enbridge should be very worried about the opposition rising against their projects. Scott Strand, David Zoll, and Catherine Hinderly all argued very well for a decision for the PUC to vacate the certificate of need and remand the PUC to direct Enbridge to reapply with the correct analysis on demand, like the analysis that they supplied on the Alberta Clipper. And if there are no regional shortages, then Enbridge cannot meet the requirements of statute to secure approval for their project. And there simply does not exist a demand forecast that justifies Enbridge's continued expansion. Our children right now are asking that we discontinue fossil fuel infrastructure goals and transition into renewables for their future. And this is the financing that we need going forward, investment in a green future, not a dirty past. I have watched the Line 5 work more recently it has been really impressive to me to see the amazing work that's being done over there. You guys have been working for a really long time, and the analysis of the Enbridge financial assurances offered to the state of Michigan on matters related to the operation of the Enbridge Line 5 pipeline at the Straits of Mackinaw was a great connector piece for Line 3 and Line 5. And I've used that in some of my blogging, and I try to break down this information so that people can understand it. And I've also been out there on the front lines getting arrested as well. And I foresee that we have much good work ahead of us to assure that people can comprehend the risks that Enbridge brings, the lack of need for Michiganders or Minnesotans to continue relations with this bad actor as the oil industry goes belly up. And I'm really grateful for all of the work that's being done all across this region to help stop these bad ideas. So thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of this. It's been a real honor.
Thank you, Jamie. So we'd like to invite Tasia, if they're able, to turn their video on and try to speak again. And if it doesn't work, no worries. We'll just roll on and see if it works in a little bit. Welcome, Tasia. Yes, we can hear you.
Yay!
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
All right. Bonjour. Debikigiza Skijikwe, Nindijnika, Nagati Wanang, and Dunjiba, Magizi Autumn. My name is Tasia Martineau. I'm from the Fond du Lac Reservation, and I am Eagle Clan. I'm the co-founder of Gitchigumi Scouts and founder of Camp Magizi. In 2018, we decided to take a stand and be in open opposition of the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline. With Gitchigumi Scouts, most of our opposition is mutual aid within Indigenous communities, arming Indigenous women with pepper spray and tasers so that they're safe while this project is going through. Because you'll hear a lot of statistics today, but what many people don't know is that when infrastructure such as Line 3, Line 5, Dakota Access Pipeline, and KXL go up, there's also an increase of violence against Indigenous women within the communities along the route. And that increase is 22%. Before that 22%, we were taught that 1 in 3 women will be raped, go missing, or have been murdered. By the age of 15, 70% of Indigenous females have been in contact with someone who has groomed them for sex trafficking. 70% of those people are non-Indigenous. So when you have a situation like a pipeline being built, critical infrastructure going up, you get hundreds to thousands of out-of-state workers who flood into small Indigenous communities with a lot of time on their hands when they're not working and a lot of money in their pocket. And what that does is it increases drug and sex trafficking within communities that have already been devastated by both. Most recently, 7 men were busted for sex trafficking, 2 of whom were proven to work for Precision Pipeline, which is the subcontractors who are currently building the Line 3 pipeline within this area. Those 2 were busted for attempting to solicit sex from a minor. So not only are these men here destroying the environment, but they're also, a great risk to our community, our women, our water, and our wild rice. So we decided to erect a camp to be in open opposition of the pipeline and also to do direct actions out of. We want to urge Indigenous men to take a stand and come out and do their due diligence to be the protectors that they're meant to be. Because most of us in opposition are women. We're women and two-spirits on the front line, terrified for the futures of our children. So we want to urge men, we want to make out that call to our uncles, our brothers, our fathers, to take their stand, and protect these women who are within these camps. There's multiple camps that are up right now. I know that there's the Ganut Collective over at Nameawag, which we stand in solidarity with. There's the Red Lake Treaty Camp, the White Earth Monoman Protector Camp. There's Camp McGeezy, and there's the Welcome Water Protector Center. We ask that you take time to come out if you're able and you feel safe doing so, to come on out and place your body on the line and help us stop this project. Because there are many of those who are in the court system now fighting to stop Line 3 and doing everything they can from a legal perspective, but they're already 50% done with the project. So what that means is those of us on the ground need to do our part to help stop Line 3 so that these cases have the time to be heard while in the courts. That way we're able to stop it. So all of us working together as a giant collective, as a movement, moving forward, we need to be able to be strong enough to lean on one another, support one another, because as Anishinaabe people, we believe that we're in the time of the seventh fire. And what that means is that prophecy isn't about me and my people. That prophecy is about our non-Indigenous relatives, learning how to reconnect, learning how to recognize, what it is they've lost. So often in this movement, I've had my non-Indigenous allies apologize to me for their roots or lack thereof. But I don't need anyone to apologize to me for the past, What I need now is people willing to make connections with one another, with the land, with the water, and, build upon that, because it's not your roots that are gonna make, or your lack thereof, that's gonna make the future. It's the roots that we build together now will be the foundation that we leave for our children to grow upon. So what I need is people willing to heal. I don't need a bunch of activists wanting to come to the front line to find a fight and a struggle to bury themselves in. At Camp McGeezy, we're going to ask you to heal, because we want to heal with you. We want to learn and grow with you. That way our children don't inherit our fight. So we do a lot of cultural activities at camp, a lot of things that have to do with reconnection and connection. We're doing language classes, all of these things are important for all of us to move forward together, because that's how we rise, is together. So making sure that we're doing those things, recognizing one another as all life is sacred, and recognizing, the sacredness of not only ourselves and the people around us, but even the people on the opposite side of the fence. We take time in the morning to pray for those who are building this project, because their safety is also at risk. We've seen deaths happen in Hill City because this company is trying to build this pipeline so quickly that their subcontractors are literally dying while working the project. And in under 2 hours, they scrape the blood off the easement and get back to work. So we make sure that we pray for them as well, because, we want to pray for them because they don't recognize the harm that they're doing, because they're disconnected. So we pray that that emptiness inside them that causes them to harm life, to dig into our mother, we pray that that's filled. We pray in order to surround them, with our love and our support, so that one day they also have the chance to reconnect. They also have the chance to recognize what it is they're doing is wrong. And, we're hoping to move forward as a movement, as a collective, and as individuals, by putting our best foot forward. That's how we honor sacred warriors, is making sure that, our needs are being met on a spiritual level, a cultural level, the physical level. And a lot of that has to do with making sure that what we're doing while we're together is growing. This movement isn't about just stopping a pipeline. As Indigenous people, when we say protect the sacred, that means more than just protesting a pipeline. So I hope that if you get the chance, you can come on out to Camp McGeezy, and really see what it is I'm talking about, experience for yourself what it means to build and be a part of safer communities. Miigwech for your time, and thank you so much for sharing space with me today.
Thank you, Tasia. Thank you for your work. While we are getting the next musician settled, I would love for everyone to take a moment and consider contributing to Tasia's work. That was posted 2 times in the comments. It would mean a lot if you have something to give, to go give something to Tasia's work. Thank you. And next up, we're going to have an earthwork musician, Joe Riley, join us. And Joe is a singer-songwriter, a social worker, and an educator from Michigan who writes songs from his heart. And Joe has such a comforting presence. And Joe, we're so glad that you're with us here today. Thanks for being here.
Miigwech, thanks for having me. Buju, Gitawe Nigamad and Dishnakas, Cherokee and Dow, Maingan Dodam, Auburn Hills and Don Jaba. My name's Joe Riley. My spirit name means the one who sings around. I'm Cherokee, Italian, and Irish. I live here in Anishinaabe Aki in southeastern Michigan, Auburn Hills, just north of Detroit, and belong to the Wolf Clan. And very happy to be here with so many wonderful relatives, including my parents, joining from my hometown of Kalamazoo, including musical siblings Annie and Seth, and miigwech to Yebishan and Paul for opening us up in that good way with the prayers and the language. And miigwech to Sam for organizing this and all the organizers for today. And to our Tasia and our relatives on the Camp McGeezy. I had the privilege and honor of visiting there with Annie a couple years ago, and just really want to offer this this energy of support to you and know that we are not separate. And want to offer a song to encourage us all who are working to protect the water, to protect our Mother Earth, to take that time that we need to take refuge in the earth. And like it was already mentioned, to practice that healing that we need in our own hearts. And when we do that, we remember that the earth is us. We are not separate. That water is us. We are not separate. And that no matter what nations we come from, we are all children of our Mother Earth. And we can act like a family. We can treat each other with that respect. So I want to invite you, if you'd like, to change to gallery view so you can see everybody, because we can't hear everyone, but there's some hand motions to this song that can allow us to see one another and to feel that connection with each other. So the refrain says, "The earth has space to hold all your tears. The earth has space to hold all your fears. Your heart has space for everything you need. You're a garden, my friend. Let us water love's seed. You're a garden, my friend. Together we'll water love." You want to join me? Try with me. The earth has space to hold all your tears. The earth has space to hold all your fears. Your heart has space for everything you need. You're a garden, my friend. Let us water love's seed. You're a garden, my friend. Together we'll water love. Beautiful. It's nice to see everybody singing together. Feel that energy. Touch the earth, where's the earth? She's in your hands, underneath your feet, right where you stand, in the substance of the ground, and she's all around. When you're quiet and you listen to your body, it's the sound of your mother's heartbeat. It's what you eat, Take off your shoes and socks and sink your feet in the mud of the earth. It's the blood of your birth. Stay calm, it's your mom, this Mother Earth. Stay calm, it's your mom, this Mother Earth. Stay calm. The earth has space to hold all your tears. The earth has space to hold all your fears. Your heart has space for everything you need. You're a garden, my friend. Let us water love's seed. You're a garden, my friend. Together we'll water love. Connect your consumption to her destruction. Consumer culture is a vulture. Check your assumptions about how you reside. How do you feel inside? Do you put more love in the sky than carbon dioxide? Who would have guessed when the earth was forming? We create a mess like global warming, and we keep burning fossils and the seas keep storming. Can we open up our eyes in time to heed her warning? Can we open up our eyes in time to heed her warning? Can we open up our eyes? The earth has space to hold all your tears. The earth has space to hold all your fears. Your heart has space for everything you need. You're a garden, my friend. Let us water love's seed. You're a garden, my friend. Together we'll water love. Listen to the sound of the wind. Feel the grandfather, grandmother rocks and begin to remember your sacred origins. We are ancient ones, made of the earth and the sun and the stars and the clouds. Come on and say it loud. I am made of the earth, and for that I am proud. All my brothers and sisters, come and gather around. We are made of the earth in the here and the now. Come on and touch the earth. It's a sacred vow. Touch the earth, Mother Earth. The earth has space to hold all your tears. The earth has space to hold all your fears. Your heart has space for everything you need. You're a garden, my friend. Let us water love's seed. You're a garden, my friend. Together we'll water love. Miigwech, everybody. Miigwech, water protectors. Let's keep watering love.
Thank you, Joe. That felt wonderful taking that in. Next up, we would love to get a spotlight rolling on Gerardo and crew. I believe it might be Don's camera, which is maybe called Galaxy something. So we would love, oh, there it is. Amazing. Thanks, MJ. We're lucky to have Gerardo here with us. Gerardo is a water protector that lives and works at Circle Pine Center in Delton, Michigan, which is a cooperative retreat center that is a respite for us all. And they have a really affordable membership rate, but you don't have to be a member in order to go to their events. It's also an amazing place to go in a pandemic because they can have safe, socially distanced events. They have a lot of property, a great community, and they are behind line 3 and 5 resistance. So I will pull up their information and put it in the chat. And I will also put in a donation link for Honor the Earth which we would love for you all to support today. And without further ado, thanks, Gerardo.
Bonjour, Annie. Thank you for the wonderful music, Joe, and everyone else who's played. It's been an incredible event. Coming to you live from Circle Pine Center, Delta, Michigan, on our 300 acres of land that we occupy of traditional Potawatomi lands. Like Sam said, we are fully behind all the warriors standing against these pipelines, 1 through infinity, but line 3 and line 5, with which all you, as we struggle to release ourselves from the grip of these petroleum giants, we hear ourselves hoping to minimize our connection to them, through our use of solar, our renewable resources, our land and our wood. And we also are trying to restore the native prairies, the plants, for the animals to prosper. We're doing that actively here at Circle Pines. And on the water behind me, we've restored Monoman here again to where it was before, so plentiful in these Kalamazoo and Berry counties. It's been recorded. I think I just read a paper that dated 1898 or something like that. It recorded being so plentiful here. Recent history, basically. So we would like to do all we can to help, all the water protectors, to keep the resistance up, and which is tradition here at Circle Pines. A lot of great people in resistance, all authoritarian and capitalist powers. So with that, I'd like to introduce our friend and neighbor, storyteller, Uncle Munden, and he's going to give us a story.
Miigwech, Gerardo. Well, I want to thank Sam and all the other organizers who put this together. But to give a shout out to Joe and Seth, I haven't seen you guys in a long time. Hope you're doing well. Look forward to meeting up with you in better times. I want to say thanks for letting me have this opportunity to make this small offering in support of the water warriors and those who are on the front lines of line 5 and line 3. The native peoples have much to teach those who came from so far away to this land and knew nothing of this land. That knowledge that native peoples have is deep. It's in our soul. It's in our meat. It's meat knowledge. It's earth knowledge. And perhaps this story will help illustrate that. 25 years ago or more, I had to go to a conference up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, up at Hannahville, Potawatomi Reservation, Hannahville, Michigan, up near Escanaba. And what I often did in those days, especially if the tribe was paying for it, I would go a day early so I could visit, so I could see my friends up there and meet new people. On this trip, I decided I'd go see Uncle. Uncle Frank was, although he's a Potawatomi from down here from Gun Lake, he was living up at Escanaba at the Hannahville Reservation. The trip up was uneventful until I got to the bridge. And we Odawa, we always stop before we cross that body of water down there by the fort if we're coming from the south, and we put some tobacco on the water, ask for a safe journey, and remember those souls who have passed while crossing that water over the centuries. I stopped at the toll booth there, and my brakes are just grinding like they do, you know, that metal on metal sound. And oh boy, now I got a brake problem. I still had about 4 hours to go, but I kept chugging along, and finally I got to Uncle Frank's house, and I went up to his little house trailer and knocked on the door. And, oh, Beaned again, he said, Beaned again, come in. And he asked me about my family and my wife and how everything was going. And, Uncle, everything's fine. How are you? Oh, he says, I'm getting along okay. He says, I'm glad you're here. Now we can go to the casino. I say, oh, Uncle, I say, my brakes on my truck, I say, I dare not drive that anywhere. I'm going to have to limp home as it is. He says, oh, that's okay. He says, everybody knows me. If we start walking, someone will stop and pick us up. I say, Uncle, I say, I only got about $35. I don't have enough money to go to the casino. He says, oh, that's okay. He says, we'll just play the nickel slots. I say, Uncle, I'm really hungry. I say, I'd like to get something to eat. He says, oh, my granddaughter works at the grill up there. She says she'll get us a couple cheeseburgers. So it's pretty clear that Uncle wanted to go to the casino. So me and Uncle get out on the gravel road there, and like most roads around Michigan and here in the upper Midwest, it's a gravel road, and it's got a ditch on either side of it, and there might be some cattails growing in there, and red willow and box elder, and there's probably some purple loosestrife. And me and Uncle are walking along that road. All of a sudden we hear this little sound, that sound of a BB gun. We walk a little farther and we hear that sound again. And we can hear these little voices. And there's someone saying, there's one, shoot it, quick. We hear, we walk a little farther. There's another one, shoot. So Uncle says, stop. Now Uncle walks down in that ditch, and down in there were some cattails and there was some red willow. And Uncle kind of snuggled himself up in there. He had his Army fatigue jacket on. He had his Detroit Tigers baseball cap, but he just kind of snuggled up in there. I stayed up on the road, and pretty soon here come two little Potawatomi boys, and they got one BB gun between them. And you could tell by watching them, they were having a great adventure. They got right in front of where Uncle was, and they didn't see him. All of a sudden, Uncle goes, hey! The boys scared those boys. And one of those little boys was holding in his hands several dead birds, a little blue jay and a robin and a red-winged blackbird and a cardinal. As soon as those boys saw Uncle, that little boy took them birds and he hit them behind his back. But of course, Uncle saw him. And Uncle says to those little boys, he says, my. You must be very hungry little boys to shoot such little birds. He says, come on now, we got work to do. He says, Jerome, you go off and collect us some firewood. Angus, he says, you make us a spot here on the ground where we can build a fire. Well, pretty soon they had a little spot going there, and Uncle says, now we got to dress those birds. He says, you got to start plucking them feathers out of there. No, you wouldn't say it was a windy day, but it was a breezy day. There was a slight breeze. And after about 5 minutes of pulling feathers, all of these boys had feathers all over. They always spit them out of their mouth. They had them in their eyes. They were everywhere. So Uncle says, boys, the first thing you got to know when you're plucking birds is which way the wind's blowing. So those two boys got up and they come and they sit by Uncle and they start plucking birds, and the little breeze took the feathers. So after a little bit, they had those birds naked, not a feather on them. Uncle says, "No, we got to get those innards out of there. We got to get those guts out." So they took a little knife and they slid them right up the belly there. Uncle said, "Oh, get your fingers way up in there. You got to get all that stuff out of there." And Uncle's doing one. He said, "Oh, look at here. A little heart that isn't beating anymore." Well, after a while, the boys probably had all them birds plucked and cleaned, and their uncle got them a couple little sticks, and they're roasting these little birds over the fire we had there. Now, the thing about a little bird is, like a blue jay, the drumstick's about that long. So it doesn't take long to cook these birds. Uncle had a little taste, I had a little taste, but my uncle wanted the boys to eat it because they must have been so hungry. When the boys finished eating those birds, Uncle says, "Now I want to tell you a story." He says, long, long ago, all of Michigan was covered with ice. And the people at the university tell us that in some places the ice was more than a mile thick. And that the earth actually sprang back as much as 10 feet after the weight of the ice was gone. When the ice melted and our rivers formed and our beautiful lakes formed. When the ice retreated, nothing grew here. It was just rock and sand and mud. It looked like that gravel road. The Creator commanded that the little birds come to a meeting, and all the little birds came. And the Creator commanded that those little birds fly in the 4 directions, and that they bring seeds back here, and they plant those seeds. And so that's why when we look around, we see such beautiful greenery. We see such beautiful plants, and all of our medicine plants are here, all brought by those little birds. Uncle says, "Well, now that's my story." He says, "When I come by here tomorrow," he says, "I don't want to be able to find this place. I want you to clean up all the feathers. I want you to gather those innards and dig a little hole in the ground and put those innards in there. Put those bones in there. Put some tobacco with them. And point their heads to the west, because you're going to help them on their spirit journey to the west." So now remember, I don't want to be able to find this place. So Uncle and I kind of walk back up that ditch to get back on the gravel road. We get up on the road, and one little boy comes up to Uncle. He says, "Uncle, are you going to tell our parents?" And Uncle says, "Well, yes, I certainly am, if I can remember." So Uncle and I start walking, and Uncle says, "Oh," he says, "the Red Wings are on." He says, "Let's go back and watch the Red Wings." So we start walking back to Uncle's house, and as we're walking along, Uncle leans over to me and he says, "Ha ha, those boys will treat me good for the next 10 years, worrying if I'm going to tell their parents." And that's the story of me and Uncle going to the casino. And what I like so much about that story is it showed Uncle as the kind and gentle man that he was. He stopped what he was doing. We weren't there just 20 minutes. We were there with those boys for 4 hours. And he showed those boys through practical experience that you don't shoot little birds, because you can spend 4 hours cleaning them and you end up with a drumstick that big. So we don't shoot them for that reason, because the effort doesn't match the reward. But then he gave them another reason. He showed them a spiritual connection that we have to those little birds, and how we rely on them, and how important they are for the beauty of our planet, and how how much we depend on them. And so now those boys have a different relationship with the birds than they did before the storm. So miigwech for letting me share this story with you. And let me say that the water warriors and those who are fighting this desperate fight that we are in deserve our support and our money. If we can send them some money for lawyers, for medical supplies, for gas and oil, for what we need to carry on this fight. So I'll close by telling you who I am in our language. Wuju Anishinaabe. Ani Bimadasajek, Nindishkas Nishkakek, Anishinaabe Odawa, Mishiki Ododam, O Washtanong Donjiba. So I'm a Grand River Odawa registered member. And I'm Turtle Clan. My name is Two Hawks. And I'm so pleased to be here. Thanks again, Gerardo and everybody else. Miigwech, aho.
Thank you, Pun.
Yeah.
I loved that. And I was putting your story in the chat for everyone to see. I posted your bio and a link to your beautiful book. It's about time I reread it. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Joe Riley is signing out, and we have just one more water protector here to speak today. Their name is Iris Potter. Iris is the founder of Kalamazoo Remembers, and Iris is just a steady force of activism and a hub of information on several Facebook pages and beyond. Iris is well connected and devoted. So Iris really helped me. I was initially just going to do a live stream for line 3, but I had some dreams of making it bigger. So Iris and Gerardo and MJ and a whole team of folks, Seth Bernard, Earthwork Music, so many folks helped this all come together. So many thanks to Iris and everyone. Go ahead, Iris. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sam, thank you so much. I'm not the only founder of Kalamazoo Remembers. I also have Tom Duffield here, and we are some of the founders of Kalamazoo Remembers. But beyond that, we are here because we have been working for a long time to shut down Line 5. And we also, in that process, have also always supported the other struggles. And right now, I just want to say thank you so much. We're running out of time. So much for all the work and putting your lives on the line up in Line 3. Know that we support you in everything that you're doing. I also want to say thank you to all the Line 5 water protectors who have always done the work, and we continue to work. We know that Enbridge can be stopped, just like Sean said. It takes a lot of people, and you're here because you're mobilized, and now we're connected, and we're connected to save our Great Lakes watershed. It's huge. We all love it, and Enbridge is killing it. Enbridge can't be easily stopped, but they can. They have already pushed through Line 3 in Minnesota. Here in Michigan, they have defied and literally rejected our governor's order. So they think they can't be stopped. So let me tell you a true story from the heart really quickly. And that is, here in Kalamazoo, we remember. This is a true story. We are the result of the worst, or some people say the second worst, inland oil spill in US history. As 1 billion gallons gushed down our river and killed everything in its way, we watched people's lives be ruined, animals, everything, living thing gone. Our river will never be the same. And my personal story is, I had to go to the river. I had to see it, and I experienced it. And I never want to see that again. And that's why I'm here today. So I pose the question, what is going to happen on Line 5 on May 12th? We're here to mobilize. So if you all can continue to work with all the Line 5 groups in Michigan, and at the same time support in the way that you can, line 3. We would truly appreciate that. Our Facebook information is out there. Many of you know who we are. You can private message us for other actions. And we do believe in community divestment. So one last thing. Enbridge, hear this. Turn it off and it's in order. Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, Iris. So we are about to wrap up our event. We're so glad that you all came. We would love for you to continue spreading the word. With all the links we shared here, we have a digital follow along doc. If someone could reshare that once more, that has so much information, so much helpful information, links to where you can donate, where you can keep following along with all the speakers and performers, and follow along on Instagram, all the digital places. Just connect with each other and keep this rolling. Thank you for sharing that document. Well, if no one else has a final announcement, I think we can put this into gallery view and wave to each other and just connect with each other for a moment on our Zoom boxes. And then we will close out our event. So I'll put this into gallery view for everyone to turn their video on and just say hello. You can even unmute for a moment if you want.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hey, everyone.
Love you.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Stay strong.